I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
Okay.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer. I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus and your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper. Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition, and that perhaps, if ill-applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But
It's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come. Not much further now.
Gehe ich mal hier rein. Die Tür war vorhin zu. Ja.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles, and it's my superiors who made this decision, sir.
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me. I shall need your written testimony. Then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
May I see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
I take it this is the first time Kimahia has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
Is there any reason Kimahia may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Did Kimahia make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person.
No, no. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
Tell me about Kimahia.
He's foreign. A Maori. All the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen. And as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English. Never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
Stenwick makes his servant live in a tool shed. You think you know someone.
chewing tobacco. Looks like a knee print. A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To read the ground like an open book.
A scrap of Hessian. These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them. No air coming through it. No air coming through it. Button chops, the remains of a meal. A heavy chemical odor. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
Ah, I'll never forget that smell after my time in Afghanistan. That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, a narcotic.
The ashes are long since cold. Is this a Tanifar, a Maori water spirit, or something else?
Either way, it's giving me chills.
Clothes made of Hessian. Is Stenwick really so miserly? A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called.
Eine Nasenflöte?
A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called.
Okay.
Clothes made of Hessian. Is Stenwick really so miserly? Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here. small navy spyglass. This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
Oh ja, das mit dem Schlösserknacken hier. Da war sie noch von der Demo. Das ist auch noch nicht so. Kunststück.
The door to your garden has an interesting lock.
Yes, I have uncommon locks on every door of my mansion. It makes them harder to pick. Kimmy here and I both had a set of keys.
I'll need to borrow them.
No, you'll need to do what I tell you to do. Examine the garden. Are you joking? Why would I know this?
Do you happen to know Kimahir's shoe size?
I wouldn't have the foggiest. But I'm sure it was enormous. Not that it matters. He spent his life barefoot. Despite my best efforts, he simply did not take to shoes.
Ja, da habe ich wohl sehr großen Ehrgeiz.
I came across a pile of Hessian clothes in the shack. Are they Kimahir's?
Yes, I had to give him something to clothe himself. He seemed unfazed by his bare skin, but I found it distracting.
Fernrohr hat damit nichts zu tun.
I thought you were meant to be intelligent.
Has Kimahir ever
Das
indulged
sieht aus, als wenn er
in
Mikro in der Hand
No,
hat.
the man doesn't even drink.
Are you certain?
Yeah,
I found
yeah.
chewing tobacco in the garden.
I controlled Kimihir's expenses since he struggled with the currency. I would have known if he used tobacco.
Ach, das sind ja die alten Sachen.
Is this spyglass familiar?
I don't recognize it.
Could it be Kimahir's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I never saw him with it, nor could I suggest how he might have come by it.
Ja, jetzt kommt wieder der Spaßfaktor. Einer. Einer schon richtig. So, Schuppen. Ich verstehe nicht, warum die alten Sachen da noch mit bei sind.
Why are you still here?
Ich wollte eigentlich den Schlüssel.
Do you think Kimmy here had an accomplice in his escape?
Ja. Was war das? Soll ich das denn anheften?
Yes, Stenwick is no angel, but he's one of my few clients. Please, try to remain courteous.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
ist noch was. Ey, nicht du auch noch. Da gibt's noch mehrere von. Genau, der da. Schnipp.
Could have left these tracks. They seem fresh.
Ja, bestimmt eine Sackkarre, Schubkarre, irgendwie sowas. Tüt mal. Da ist noch was. Das war gerade noch nicht da. Den. Da. Wenn ich dem jetzt davon berichte, dann kriege ich vielleicht den Schlüssel. Nix.
If you find my man, I have a marvelous whiskey with your name on it.
Du willst mich doch echt verarschen. Ich suche gerade die abgeschlossene Tür, aber die werde ich hier nicht finden.
This dreary rain is making a miserable day even worse.
Da, dass ich... Was, hat er den ausgespuckt? Ja.
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it.
Der doch nicht.
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it. This disappearance is intriguing, though. I cannot make head nor tail.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right. Someone moved a cart to this spot and then took it elsewhere. Can't see it anywhere in the garden.
So, jetzt muss ich hier gerade überlegen. Die Holzscheite unweit des Schuppens scheinen vor kurzem dorthin geworfen worden zu sein. Unter dem Regenschutz steht normalerweise ein Karren. Das mache ich nochmal eben vor. Nee, nicht bestätigen. So, sind sie wieder alle grün. Der lauert da, also würde ich mal sagen, der als erster. Oder muss ich die irgendwie... Ich drück mal. Der. Dann würde ich sagen, der. Tüt. Der. Dann wird er rausgeschliffen auf den Karren. Den. Und dann den. So, dann muss ich die doch so machen. Den als erstes. Ist wäre falsch, richtig? Warte nu. Der ist rot. Also nicht den als erstes. Hat zuerst die Tür aufgeschlossen. Oh, der muss so hier immer am Weg stehen. Geh doch mal. So. Wie das funktioniert. Oh.
No air coming through it.
Das muss eigentlich der erste sein. Das ist der Dingens hier. Meine Güte. Wie kann ich den denn auswählen?
This disappearance is intriguing, no? I cannot make head nor tail of it.
The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney. Surveilling from afar, the intruder waited for a window of opportunity. When Kimahir went to sleep, the man crept up to the shack and slipped narcotics down the chimney pipe, then blocked it with a cloth. Kimahir inhaled the sedative and fell into a deep sleep. The intruder tried to move him, but the man was heavier than expected. The intruder fell on the sack and dropped his spyglass. In order to transport the servant, he had to use the cart. The final challenge was opening the garden door. Luckily for our intruder, Kimahir had the key in his shack.
Remarkable. It makes total sense.
Bin gleich wieder da.
You'd best have found something by now, gentlemen.
I fear that someone may have spied upon Kimahir. Likely the owner of the spyglass I found earlier. It appears they were watching for some time, as there was an impressive amount of chewing tobacco on the ground.
And your point?
I found the residue of narcotics in Kimahir's brazier. There are several explanations, perhaps your servant's recreational interest, or an attempt at poisoning.
Cut to the chase, Mr. Holmes.
You said that you checked the shack earlier. Did you notice the cart tracks near it? Now, one ought to expect a servant to make regular use of such a thing. Indeed, I would have overlooked the detail were it not for the cart's absence. If, as you say, Kimahir never leaves your estate, then where did it go?
I expect answers from you, Mr. Holmes, not questions.
I won't keep you in suspense any longer, Captain. Kimahir was abducted by the owner of the spyglass. When your servant fell asleep, he slipped a narcotic into Kimahir's brazier to make him sleep even more soundly. In order to carry a man as large as Kimahir, the intruder stole the cart and rolled him right out of your garden.
Now, hold on. All this simply to tell me what I already know? Why haven't you found him yet?
I only arrived a moment ago. It is, frankly, incredible that I have already deduced so much.
Every second you dawdle here, waiting for me to stroke your ego, is another second wasted. I'm not interested in the how, the why, or the who. I am only interested in recovering my investment. Spare me the claptrap, boy, and go and fetch my servant.
Truly, there is no better evidence of a man's nature than the way he treats those who help him. And you, sir, are a brute. The cruelty of your ignorance about the Maori people, your selfish attitude to a man's kidnapping.
The point is, Captain, we're telling you this for a reason. The intruder fled through the garden door, and we need a key to follow his trail.
Well, then you should have led with that. Here you go. I hope you'll return soon with good news. And in the meantime, please teach your companion the art of brevity.
Wheels picked up grass along the way. Kimahir's cart, I gather. Roy Soulsby. Could that be the name of our man? A strange substance. I have my suspicions based on the color and consistency, but would you care to hazard a guess, Doctor?
Well, it's odorless, but from the way it absorbs water, I'd say saltpeter.
Then we're in agreement. Well done. Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair.
Are you stupid, Mr. Holmes? Stop loitering and go and do your job.
So, den habe ich schon mal. So, die sind weg. So, ein Führer ist ein Seemann. Genau, Seemannsknoten. So, langsam steige ich hier durch. Geldbörse. Huch! Also, er ist ein Seemann. Londoner Hafen, vor kurzem ein Unfall mit Salpeter gab. Londoner Hafen muss ich hin. Wir müssen so schnell wie möglich eine Droschke finden, die uns zum Londoner Hafen bringt.
The Strand proved not so useless after all. The saltpeter accident. Doctor, do you recall?
The Port of London, of course. The footwear, the spyglass.
Indeed. We shall need to take a cab there.
Wer wäre denn bereit?
Where to, Gav? The Port of London, please. I will show you where to stop.